right, so welcome back to um, the next step. So we are getting started with Python and right away, right? But before you can use Python, you need to install it on your computer, right? So you install the Python on your computer, so you have to go to their website and download it. I will demonstrate that in a bit. However, if you are using Linux operating system, you already have Python installed. In fact, you have two versions of Python installed. You have Python version 2 and Python version 3. What we are going to use in this tutorial is Python version 3, right? So this is Linux that I'm using. So if you're using Linux, if you just type, you realize if you just open your terminal and you type Python, if you have 2.7, or let's say type Python minus version. So I said Python 2.7.1. So if you want to get access to the Python version 3, you say Python 3, right? And you see that's Python 3.8.2. So Python, if I just type Python 3 to open the Python console, so we'll talk about that later. So if you're already on Linux, you are set up already. The only thing left for you is to download and install Visual Studio Code. So let me show you how to do that. So go into your browser and search for Visual Studio Code, right, in Google. Let's just wait for it to come right up, right? Visual Studio Code, everyone knows Visual Studio Code. So if you're using Linux, there are two options for you. If you're using Ubuntu, right, you have something, this is what you need to download, the .deb. And if you're using something like Red Hat or Fedora, you need to download the .rpm. So you know what you're using. I mean, in fact, if you're already using Linux, then you know what you're doing, I assume. So just find out which one you should download for your Linux distribution, right? Or if you have Snap Store, you can go to the Snap Store and you can download it right there. So that's for people using Linux. You can download Visual Studio Code just like that. So I'll demonstrate to you to the Windows guys, and I'll use that to show you how Visual Studio Code works and everything. And then we have like those who have, if you're using Mac, you can just download it. If you're using Windows, you can download it, right? So let's not waste much time, right? So the Visual Studio Code is a text editor. It allows you to type your code, and then you so that's where you type your code. So right, this Visual Studio Code that I have here, and this is where I type the code that I showed you earlier on, right? It is Visual Studio Code. So the important thing is right now, let's do it for the Windows guys, right? Because for the Linux guys, you have it. So the important thing is that for Linux, you already have Python. You just need to install Visual Studio Code, and I've shown you how to do that. For the Windows guys, it's the same thing, but first you need to install Python, right? So to install Python, visit their website, go to python.org. That is their website. And then you go to downloads, right? So you can take your time and go around this website, just read around and see what's going on. Then you see Windows here, click on Windows. Now what we are looking for, since I said we are using Python 3.8, so we are looking for this Python 3.8.5. That's the latest Python version, right? And so we have two types of machines. We have those people who machine is 64-bit and those who machine is 32-bit. I'm sure you know that difference. If you don't know, don't worry. So what you are looking for is, if your machine is 64-bit, you see here we have Windows help file. You don't need that. Embedded, that's not what you're looking for. What you're looking for is Windows x86-64 executable installer, right? So that's what you're looking for, executable installer. This will work for 64-bit machines. So just click on it and it will install it. So it store it to download it for you. However, if your machine is 32-bit, you are looking for x86. This one doesn't have any hyphen 32 or something, but just x86. So this one is x86 executable installer. That's if you are using 32-bit. So you need to download that one if you are using 32-bit. So I'm going to demonstrate to you. Then I'm sure it has gone to my downloads folder. So my machine here is 64 bits, right? So let me just this folder one for the 32 bits, as you can see. So if I click on it, let's see what happens. You see, right? But I'm not going to install this 32 bits. I'm going to install the 64 bits. So let me just cancel it. So when I click on this, now use to demonstrate to you how to install it here. So it works for all of you. Make sure that you check this box, or else you are going to get problems. Please don't forget, add Python 3.8 to path and click on it, right? And then once you've done that, go here, install now. Click on install now and just wait. Select yes and wait, and Python will install itself for you. So let's wait whilst Python installs, right? And so whilst Python installs, let's go and look for Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code, right? Search for it, and it will come up first, no doubt. And you say download for Windows, so I can just click on it and it downloads for the Windows. So you just have to wait small to download. All right. Let's just wait that the Python downloading, installing itself. So it's just causing a little problems, but everything will be back to normal very soon. Sure. It seems our Visual Studio Code has also downloaded. So let's wait for the Python to finish installing, then we install that. Visual Studio Code. Okay. So, in my machine, my VirtualBox is frozen for some reason. So wait, let me restart this. Okay. And just wait, let me start it again. Anyway. So we'll be back in no time. So feel free to forward to the point where we are back. Okay. So now that we are back, we go to our downloads folder. Yeah. So remember the Python was able to install before this thing went off. So to be able to have access to your Python, go to your search bar and type the CMD, right? So when you search for CMD, we've already installed it, forget this guy. Yeah. Close this thing. So CMD, to confirm that you've installed Python, when you type Python here, something should happen. Seems nothing happened. That is weird. So Okay, so let's it seems the installation didn't complete or something, so let's do it again. All right, so we are installing again. So I'm surprised by now you've gotten the idea. So you can feel free to skip until the installation finishes. I'm not skipping. So as we wait, we can play some music. What do you think? Yeah, I think so too.
Mattina mi sono alzato. Bella ciao, bella ciao.
This is one of my favorite music. Anyway, so now the Python is done. So now let's go to the CMD again. CMD. Then we type Python. Yeah. So if until you get something like this, it means that your installation is not working. So if I type exit, things to go. Then Python minus version. So Python version 3.8.5, right? So the one I'm using here is 3.8.5. While the one I'm using on my Linux is 3.8.2. So that's fine, it's not a problem at all. So now that we've installed Python, the next thing we are going to do is to install our Visual Studio Code. So I click on it, normal installation process. We play music as it installs. So you can take create desktop icon, all of that, it doesn't matter. You can also select this, add open with code with, it's okay. Next. So line of Visual Studio Code. Yeah, so let's start the music. All right, so you can see our Visual Studio Code is up and running, right? So this is Visual Studio Code. So for the Linux guys also, if you once you download that thing, you double click on it, it will install for you, right? And you can see here we have something called install support for JavaScript, Python, Java, PHP. So for now, let's just click on this to open something here. Let's uncheck this. We don't want to be seeing this anytime. So we want to install support for Python. So this will make writing Python code very easy in your stuff. So make sure you do this right before you do anything. So click on install and then wait, and it will install it for you, right? Yeah, so that's all you need to click on for now. Don't go and click on any other thing because installation actually takes some time, takes also some data. So we just wait for this to finish, and I'll take you through Visual Studio Code, and that'll be it for this part. Alright, so it seems it has installed, right? So what can we do? So let's just say let's go to file, let's say new file, right? And let's type some Python code inside. Say print hello world, and then let's save. So it will ask us how do we want to save it. So let's say first of all, let's select maybe somewhere to save it. So I suggest that you make a folder like that you are going to put all your code inside, right? So but I'm not using Windows basic, so I'm just going to put it on desktop, and I'm going to say hello. I'm going to change this from plain text, right? And you have to look for Python here. So you see Python, you say. So that's it for you, hello.py. Hello.py. And actually, I think you can run this. Alright. Hello world. Let's run it for you. So inside Visual Studio Code itself, it has a terminal that you can use, right? Anyway, so now that we've installed Visual Studio Code and everything, in our next video tutorial, now we'll go through Visual Studio Code and we'll write some Python code and we set it up and everything. But basically, yeah, that's all. We are now done with our setup and we are good to go. See you in the next one.